crocodile is great and all, but wouldn't it be even better if it had 6 eyes and bioluminescence to go with it? You know, these things might just need to be done.
I'm Nerdarchy Ted.
And I'm Nerdarchy Dave.
Welcome to Nerdarchy, for nerds, by nerds. All right, so we've got a discussion video here to kind of talk about some new magic options.
You know what? We've got all kinds of spellcasting and magic in 5e D&D. And I was thinking, it's actually a little bit timely with the release of the new Avatar movie, I feel like. But Biomancy as a possible avenue. Now, I feel like there's a lot of different ways you could approach this.
So I would have to agree. There's definitely a lot of life and flavor with this particular thing. So, I think we should start off by saying, what is Biomancy?
Biomancy, to me, is the ability to manipulate and alter life force and life energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's similar to necromancy, except it doesn't work on the dead. There's no life there anymore. Mm-hmm. And it's more about taking transmutation magic, but only applying it to things that are already living, mm-hmm. and really, transmorgifying things and changing them and altering them, enhancing them, improving them to your mind.
So do we feel this is something that D&D is lacking? Does this belong in D&D?
Well, that's going to vary from table to table, and it really is just what do you want to get out of it. And what is a biomancer going to do in D&D? What is the function mechanically, and also what is the function lore-wise? I could definitely see them being, really cool at enhancing and being buffers in the party, mm-hmm. using their powers to increase the capabilities of others. But also, you could also do it. They could also be offensive as well. Like, if you were to enhance someone's biology in a way they weren't prepared for, it may not actually be an enhancement at all. If you were to hotwire their nervous system all of a sudden, that might just shut them down, mm-hmm. because they're overwhelmed.
Or you could even, as far as I'm concerned, use it as a debuff. And a perfect, counterpoint is slow and haste. Yeah. I feel like if you're working with the life forces of somewhere else, well, what if I sped things up or slowed them down? It's just which direction do you turn the dial? And to me, I feel like that is the perfect example of what a biomancer could do within the rule set that already exists.
I could see whole orders of them where they could be NPCs in your world for good or ill. They may not even have bad intent, but they might be hell-bent on, evolving things and taking things to the umpteenth degree. Crocodile is great and all, but wouldn't it be even better if it had 6 eyes and bioluminescence to go with it? These things might just need to be done.
That would be kind of cool. I don't think the bioluminescence makes it a better hunter. Mm-hmm. But I mean, hey, maybe, that does something else in the world or the swamp that particular crocodile hunts. Maybe it draws prey in as opposed to scares them away.
Like moths to the flame. But it sets up a dynamic where maybe the players are like, oh, these guys are great. They make really cool spider monkeys. And I don't mean, when I say spider monkeys, I mean...
He doesn't mean a tamarin. He means a combination between a spider and a monkey.
Yeah, where the local druid would be like, yo, you guys are whacked and I'm going to whack you for it. This cannot fly,
I mean, that's exactly, the old D&D lore of the crazy wizard that did it. This could be that crazy wizard, or this could be the order of people that are responsible for all of those things.
Yeah, and they could be. You could go totally like the Harpers Forgotten Realms, where they're just ludicrous, or it could be more malevolent, and they just be like, I just need to make things that are apex predators and destroy everything. Like, wouldn't a shark be so much better if they had wings? And that could function underwater and in the air, and they could breathe air as well. Wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah, I think that would be kind of cool.
And maybe laser beams. I don't know.
You just need sharks with freaking laser beams on them.
Yeah, so you could have a lot of fun with it, right? If you introduce it in a game, one of your players might be like, oh, I want to be a biomancer, and then it's the question of, okay, well, is it a subclass for sorcerer, wizard, and druids, right, where they all have their own path, which could be fun. Sorcerers have sorcery points to play with, and druids have wild shape to play with, and then wizards just have wizard stuff to play with. So I feel like they could be very different and unique. Or do you make a Biomancer class with its own subclasses? Because maybe maybe one subclass focuses more on animal life and creatures, well, and another focuses more on plant life and plants. There might be some crossover. Maybe there's another one that just focuses on humanoids.
I think there could be all of those are viable options. There's definitely some crossover even into an avenue of thought that I was having. If you're familiar at all with the Codex Alaris series by Jim Butcher, there was a group, another race of creatures that had blood magic. And for the longest time, I've been, kind of tooling around with this thought of like, there should be a blood mage as its own class. And since like, you've got all of these other options for casters, I was like, well, what if we had an actual caster that used Constitution for its school? Now, this definitely seems, a stretch, but there's enough crossover from where the ideas I had with blood magic and with this biomancy, like that it's like, all right, could some of the thought patterns that I had for this other class fit into Biomancer and just call it that as opposed to a Blood Magus? So there's definitely, thought patterns there to look at as well.
Well, they would be both very similar. I feel like they both kind of like tap into life force, but in different ways.
Right.
Where I feel like one is a little more violent and more taking, where the other one could be that way, but it doesn't have to be. Right. It could be more of a coaxing and
nudging.
Coaxing and manipulating and kind of massaging it into the direction that you want it to go.
Right. So like I said, I just brought it up just for that, the similarities, even if they're on kind of polar ends of that. So what do we feel fits, the powers of this class? Obviously, like we talked about some spell options that, might be out there, but what kind of powers would we think this class or subclass would have?
I would actually like to build it around the hit dice mechanic.
Okay.
And basically let the Biomancer spend their own hit dice, and also possibly manipulate the hit dice of other creatures as an, kind of like as an attack form. They can maybe draw from an enemy and suck away their hit dice, and maybe like it's a bonus action. As a bonus action, requires a saving throw. If they fail, they get to then use the enemy's hit dice against them essentially in certain ways, or as a bonus action, you could use, allies' hit dice and use it to empower whatever you're trying to do.
I love that concept because it's built off of, especially in our games, an underused mechanic, and because everything has hit dice. I mean, even if you look at, a monster stat block, it tells you what die they have. It tells you what proficiency modifier they have. So you've got the ability to build a spectrum of use. Be like, all right, well, you've got your proficiency modifier, you've got their proficiency modifier, you've got your hit dice, they've got their hit dice. It all has a great blend.
Yeah, maybe Biomancer spells, they don't get spell slots per se. They get to expend hit dice to use them towards spells. Maybe there's a hard limit just because at first level you can't have them doing everything.
Right.
But they, and you could even do it where possibly certain creatures they can't tap into, like undead and constructs, because they're not really living creatures.
Right.
But anything else, it's like they actually need the enemy's resources to use them against them. It requires some looking at, but at the same time they could also use their friends' resources if you're dealing with constructs and undead. But that could definitely be a very crippling to them and the party for that matter.
And it would greatly change the dynamic of like, the rest mechanic of like, okay, we need a rest. Well, we're all fine, but we're all out of hit dice. I need them back so I can do stuff. Yeah. That could be, a lot of fun to play at. So if you think this concept is cool and you'd like us to explore further, let us know down in the comments. But if you like videos like this and you want to help support the channel, why not check out Nerdarchy the store or check out Patreon and help us out over there. So on your way down to the comments, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, click on that notification bell. You know the drill.
Quick reminder, we drop several videos a week, so come on back, but you can't wait till then. No worries, we got you covered. You want to talk about more magic and wizardly stuff? How about checking out the Muscle Wizard?
So until next time, stay nerdy.